Can you guys see that?
Yeah, it's coming through.
All right, cool. So real number. So like if I showed you that in symbols, what would you say? How would you describe that?
X is less than or equal to -1.
Okay, good, right? So that means X is all numbers less than or equal to -1. And if we were to graph that, I go to -1 here, what would I draw?
A dot.
A dot. One little dot?
Yes. And then go to the left.
I'll make it a little bigger so we can see it. And to the left. Because they're less, right? Very good. Excelente. What about this one?
X is greater than -3, but smaller than 2.
Good. Right, so this is like a compound inequality. So that means all the numbers that are between -3 and 2. So this one will be open circles, right? Not filled in. And everything in between. Not including those values. Everybody okay with that, I hope? From Algebra 1, Algebra 2? And what about this one? This one's a little tricky. It says or.
Isn't it the same as last one, but they go opposite ways?
They go
Like-
opposite ways.
Yeah, like X, like it says right there, X is less than or equal to 1. And it goes to the left, and then the X is greater than 3, so it goes open and to the right.
Very good, awesome. And to describe that, we could just say all numbers that are less than or equal to 1, or that are greater than 3, right? We say or because there's no number that could be both of these at the same time. Right? There's no number that's less than 1, but also bigger than 3. So it has to be an or. Very good. So your turn. Go ahead and do that one. So write an inequality, right? Less than, greater than, and then draw the graph.
We put in the chat what we think is the answer.
Oh, just in front of you. We'll do it on the screen here.
Okay.
Anyone have an inequality? You can say it out loud. What would I write? I'll give you a hint.
X less than or equal to 0.
So X, and then less than, equal to, so I need the little bar, right? And 0. So if we graph that, we go to 0.
A closed circle going to the left.
And go to the left. Good, it's good review, right? What about this one? Between -2 and 1/2. 0.
Oh,
1.
that was the same. X -2 is less than X, but greater than 1/2.
The 2 is less than X. Oh, greater than?
Greater than 1/2
I
or less than 1/2.
think it'd be less than 1/2.
Okay, less than 1/2.
Because if it's in between, so I like to graph it first. All right, so if I graph it first, it says I want numbers between -2 and 1/2. Well, that's these guys, right? So then you see that if x is in here, x has to be less than 1/2. It's to the left, right? And this piece says x is bigger than -2. X is bigger than -2, but we flipped it around. You could also write it like this. This is the same as this. All right, good. So the reason I'm reviewing that is because now we get to the pre-cal stuff, the fun stuff, the new stuff. Yay. So we're looking at this. This is what we call interval notation, this piece here. So you have a bracket, and then a value, and then comma, another value, and then a bracket. So that's called interval notation. And that's called a closed interval, and that's what it would look like if it was an inequality. So you'd have some value over here A, some value over here B. This is a closed interval, both are brackets, so that means it's closed, closed. And this is what we refer to as bounded. So X is bounded between A and B. Pretty easy, right? It's not too scary. Uh-oh, parentheses. What do you think parentheses means?
Open.
Open. That means this kind of circle. And it's still bounded.
The interval type is open.
Right, so parentheses means open. So open because we could get close to this value but never get there, right? So if B is 3, you could go 2.9, 2.99, 2.999, 2.9999999, right? So that's why we say it's open. You can never get to B. And it looks like that. And the fun part is you could have one of each. What? So if it's one of each, is it closed or is it open?
It's half open.
Good, optimist. Half open, not half closed. Half open. And so we've seen those before. Right? So you have A, you have B. A is a bracket, so that's closed right there. B is a parenthesis, so that's an open one. And you shade in between. And it could be the other way. It could be parenthesis bracket, but it's still half open. So you can have A, you can have B. And A is parentheses, so that's open here. B has a bracket, so that's filled in here. And bounded, so we're in between. Any questions up to there? No questions to there? Everybody's good? All right. So now let's do unbounded. So if interval is unbounded, it has infinity. So those are one-sided inequalities. So if I have a value A here, it's going to be closed and this way. And we always put a parenthesis on infinity. Right? If you put a bracket on infinity, then you're saying that you can get to that value, right? It's included, but we can never get to infinity. And you could also have an open. So you could also be an A open. And if you're on the left side to negative infinity, it looks like this. So I will point out that if it's on the left and it's open, right, to this side, then it's always negative infinity on the left. You never put positive infinity on the left. Positive infinity is on the right. These numbers are in numerical order from the number line. So the way you see it on the graph is the way you write the interval. So when I see negative infinity to b, that means it's every number from negative infinity all the way up to b. So it's going to the left. So hopefully that makes sense. Everybody good there? We have questions? No questions? All right, cool. Your turn. Ready, go. And you could talk to anyone in the class. I'm sure you have a friend or two or three in the class. Feel free to just start talking, or you could text them, or if you want, you could use the chat.
I think someone asked a question in the chat.
Yeah, I just saw at the top. I get so excited teaching, I just keep going here. So, do we have to write this down? There's a question. So, no, you don't have to write this down unless you want to. Everybody learns differently. So if you need to write it down because it helps you remember, please write it down. If you don't need to, if you could just watch and say, oh, okay, cool, I got that, then that works too. You don't have to have a notebook for the class. I'm not going to collect or grade a notebook. The notes are for your own personal benefit. You're the one that's going to study your notes for the test. So if you have good notes, you'll probably do better on the test. And then Elizabeth asked, why is the first one closed? Let me go back to let's see, previous. Are you asking about this number one, Elizabeth? So we classify this as closed because A has a bracket. So these are different because these are unbounded, right? So if we're talking about an unbounded interval, this is an unbounded interval because it has infinity. So if they're one-sided like this, and you're going off to positive infinity or to negative infinity, they're classified as unbounded but closed if this has a bracket, unbounded and open if this is a parenthesis. So hopefully that answered your question. So Xavier, yes, infinity always has a parenthesis, right? Because infinity goes off forever. The bracket means you stop at that value. How do you stop at infinity, right? You can't.
Evaluate.
So infinity always has a parenthesis. So there's the problems again. Sorry. Whoops. Don't look at the answers. There you go.
What the fuck?
All right.
Further, is it gonna be 6 or what? I think that's gonna be 6, but we'll find out right now.
Yeah, Alonso, you're not on mute.
Well, he doesn't have to be on mute if he's talking to somebody. I'm trying to encourage you guys to like talk like we're in a normal classroom, you know? I know it's kind of weird, but you could shout out at somebody like, you know, like, hey, Robert, what'd you get? Or, hey, Itzel, what did you get for number 2? Just like you would if we were sitting in class. So you could unmute and talk. It's just if I'm lecturing and trying to get some across, everyone should mute. But feel free to talk to each other.
Ya, pues, ya viste. Oh my. Jeez. Ah. Mm. Do we have to say the answer already, or?
Has everyone had a chance? Everybody's worked on it? You all got answers? Sounds like yes, no one's protesting. All right. What do you got? What's the first one?
It's open, -4. It's
Open.
and it goes all the way to +1, and it's closed.
Okay. But in general, this interval, let's start with, is it bounded or unbounded?
Oh, bounded.
It's bounded. So if it's a bounded interval, it's either open, closed, or half open. So what is it?
Half open.
Half open. Very good. So that's what we would have, right? So we go to -4, go to +1, and everything in between. So hopefully you got that right. What about number 2? Anyone else?
It's bounded
Bounded,
and it's closed,
closed.
and that's the inequality.
Yeah, sorry. I thought they were in different order, but you guys are getting the idea of it. Sounds like it. So you'll be doing this in your homework, pretty easy homework to start the year. Basic, get to learn some language here.